Imagine waking up tomorrow and realizing the global economy didn't fail. It worked exactly as intended. Not for you, not for most people, but for the system itself. Here's the uncomfortable truth no one likes to say out loud. When markets crash, when debt explodes, when inequality widens, those are not glitches. They're signals. Signals that incentives are being obeyed. Right now, people everywhere feel the same tension. Prices feel wrong. Work feels heavier. Money feels thinner. And yet, headlines say growth, recovery, resilience. So who's lying? Or worse, who's telling the truth? This story doesn't begin with inflation. It doesn't begin with central banks. It begins with a simple idea that quietly reshaped the world. Money is power, and power is never neutral. Hundreds of years ago, economies were slow, local, messy. If something broke, it broke nearby. Today, money moves faster than politics, faster than laws, faster than consequences. Capital crosses borders in milliseconds. People don't. That asymmetry matters because systems evolve to favor whatever moves fastest. Modern economies are built on credit, not cash, not savings, credit, which means the system rewards those who can borrow cheaply. Governments, banks, large corporations, not households. This is where the design becomes visible. Debt isn't a temporary tool. It's the engine. Every major economy runs a permanent deficit, not by accident, because growth, as we define it, requires future promises to be pulled into the present. Borrow tomorrow, spend today, repeat. When it works, it feels like prosperity. When it doesn't, it feels like crisis. But structurally, nothing changes. Here's the math most people never see. Debt grows exponentially, income grows linearly. That gap never closes. It only resets through inflation, through defaults, through crises, and every reset transfers power. Upward, publicly, we're told markets are emotional, irrational, driven by fear and greed. Privately, markets are obedient. They follow incentives with machine-like discipline. If you guarantee bailouts, risk increases. If you suppress interest rates, leverage explodes. If failure is punished selectively, behavior adapts. This isn't corruption, it's alignment. Think about financial crises. They're framed as shocks, unexpected storms. But storms don't arrive on schedules. Crises do, roughly every decade. Why? Because the system requires periodic destruction to remain stable. Weak balance sheets must be cleared. Political pressure must be released. Wealth must be reorganized. It sounds dramatic until you realize it's cheaper than reform. Now look at the global picture. Some countries always seem to win. Others never quite escape instability. That's not about culture. It's about currency hierarchy. Countries that issue reserve currencies export risk. Countries that borrow in foreign currencies import fragility. One group prints, the other adjusts. When things go wrong, austerity isn't imposed because it works. It's imposed because creditors demand it. The system protects capital first, stability second, people last. And yet, from the outside, it all looks accidental, like nobody's in control. That's the brilliance of the design. Responsibility is diffused. Power is concentrated. Politicians rotate. Policies change. The structure remains. Technology was supposed to fix this. Automation, globalization, efficiency. Instead, it accelerated the imbalance. Productivity soared. Wages didn't, because gains flowed toward ownership, not labor. This isn't greed, it's math. Even inequality graphs tell a story people avoid. Most inequality isn't created in markets. It's locked in through asset ownership, and assets inflate when money is cheap. So who benefits when central banks intervene? Look at balance sheets, not speeches. None of this means collapse is imminent. Systems like this don't break suddenly. They stretch, they absorb, they normalize dysfunction. The real risk isn't failure, it's permanence. A world where crisis becomes background noise, where instability is priced in, where expectations quietly fall. So when someone says the economy is broken, ask a harder question. Broken for whom? Because from the perspective of power, predictability, and control, the system is performing remarkably well. The unsettling part isn't that this design exists, it's that changing it would require those who benefit most to give something up. And systems don't reform themselves. They wait until pressure becomes unavoidable. The question isn't whether this economy works. It clearly does. The question is, how long can a system optimized for capital survive in a world run by people?